mechanisms we're using. So we set up as a community land trust and then registered as a community benefit society. We worked with a guy called Blaze from East Confederation of Cooperative Housing, trying to look at the best structure, and we decided that the community benefit society was the structure we wanted the most, and we swapped around plans and ways it all worked, and then put something within the constitution to make us a community land trust. We're trying to buy, say, 7 hectares of land in Haringey that presently the Health Authority own. We're trying to work with the GLA to try and get them to buy the land actually on our behalf, and then we reckon we'll have a better chance working with the GLA than we will with the Health Authority, because the Health Authority just want to go to an open market tender and get as much as they can for it. We think we've probably got a better chance of getting it with the GLA because Sadiq is at least making noises about community-led housing and affordable housing. We've employed Igloo as our development manager. We did a crowdfunding for 25 grand, and we've got a really big firm of architects called McQuaid Lavington to put together a master plan which came out of a survey of 350 people locally and about 8 or 9 consultation events. So that's the mechanisms, summary of how we work and how far we've progressed with them. We work pretty well. There's probably, we've got a wider list of about 700 or 800 people. We've never really done a push for members, although we are now, because everyone's telling us numbers of members really count. But we've always had a supporters list, and we're now trying to turn those into members. But we've got about 100 people, and about 50 of those work between an hour or two a week and probably 20 hours a week doing stuff for StART. We've got no paid workers, we've got very little funding. A lot of the stuff, so we're using a really big firm of solicitors called Trower and Hamlins. They've got loads of experience of buying land from health authorities. They, our architects, Igloo, anyone else we can twist arms, are actually doing loads of work for nothing for us. So it's because the project, each of the Community Land Trust sort of started it all, and it's sort of 30 or so houses. You've got Rust that's 30 or so houses. We're trying to develop 800 houses as a community-led project. It's the next step up, which is quite a massive step up, I know. But it's inspired a lot of the professionals to get involved. So quite a lot of people are coming to us saying, look, we'll get involved, we'll help you out. Summary of our part. So that's how we're going to succeed. I suppose most of us know we've probably got about a 5 to 10% chance of getting the land, but everyone is working for free on that assumption and knows that's going ahead. Good points and limitations, difficulties with the mechanisms. Our biggest difficulty and limitation is anyone in authority taking us seriously. The GLA, the Mental Health Trust, Haringey Council, everyone's like, community-led developments can't do this. You can build 20 or 30 houses, you can't build 800 houses. Even though we say to them, we're not building them, we're going to use a huge construction firm, we're going to have bloody great firm of solicitors, we've got a proper developer, we've got one of the biggest firms of architects around, it's still community-led developments can't do this. You can't make decisions quick enough. You can't do this, you can't do that. Every time, and that is our biggest problem. We've got loads of people that want to do it, we've got loads of professionals that want to be involved. You know, we're speaking to one local councillor who's trying to we're looking at using Haringey Council's pension fund to fund some of it, so the money, we miss out the middle person and go straight from the workers' pensions straight to StART. And even that is like, the rest of the council are like, oh no, you can't do that. Don't even want to have the discussion. So I would say of all the difficulties, that's our biggest one, even more than money. What methods of consultation, engaging, building support have you used? Oh Christ, everyone. So we've had surveys, we've done public meetings, we've done door-to-door knocking, we're going to have a small mini festival. We've spoke at the GLA, we've spoke to as many people as we know in the community-led housing field. We've gone and knocked on councillors' doors. We sent a briefing to all GLA members, assembly members, about how we meet Sadiq Khan's manifesto. We do street stalls every other week. We've produced something like 5,000 of these. Yeah, so we've just gone out trying to engage with everybody we can. We've got 9 different subgroups that work on different issues. So the publicity subgroup's going out doing stuff. We've got an inclusion subgroup, just trying to get local people involved. There's a strategy subgroup, a developers subgroup, which is looking at our developers and the development managers. There's a housing subgroup, there's a health subgroup, there's an environment subgroup. There's a really strong desire from the local community to have some sort of health legacy. If the hospital's going, something has to go back in now that leaves a legacy. Now that could be really good quality housing that's secure, because there's studies that show that insecure, horrible housing leads to mental health problems. It was, and part of it is still going to be a mental health hospital. So even if it's just having that leaves a health legacy, there's got to be some health legacy. And there's a lot of green space on that site, and people are determined that green space and environmental issues are really important. How have you sustained involvement throughout the long process? So we've been going for 2 years, and I guess for us, it's keeping it exciting. It is a really scary project, and when you start talking to people of like figures of 200 to 300 million quid, people get scared by it, but it also excites people. And when, like you're saying, Custom House, Haringey's been, I'd use the term gentrified rather than regenerated. You know, houses are doubling in price in Haringey. People are being pushed out to Wolverhampton. And I would say there is communities in Haringey. I would say there is communities in, there's not one community, there's hundreds of communities. Those communities are being split up. People are being forced out. Seeing that there is a way that even on a small scale, which we would say 800 homes in Haringey is, it gives people inspiration. And the more people like me put a lot of work into it, a lot of people are it's like, it needs to seem real to people. So people are getting involved and people are excited. But also we have a number of different subgroups. People are allowed to burn out and have time out. You know, one of the main people involved in StART recently had 6 weeks out because she was just like, it's too much. Having enough people involved that key people can say, I'm going to have a little break, I think is really important. But also keeping that going. So by having the subgroups, people can get involved in something on a real... The project's this big, you can get involved in something this big. You don't have to take the whole project on. And I think breaking it down into smaller bite-sized things makes people, you can focus on you can focus on what trees you want.